So good morning children. Yesterday we discussed a very important methods of the extraction of metals. So we did four important extraction of metal, that is extraction of iron, extraction of aluminium, extraction of copper. In that copper we also extract the copper from the low grade ore or low grade ores, and lastly the extraction of alumina and the extraction of zinc. So now in today's class, what we are all get the metals through the extraction, even though they will contain some impurities. The metals are extracted from the extraction, they will also contain a little bit of impurities or also present, still it is not pure. So here we are going to remove the impurities from the crude metals. So the removing of what? The removing of impurities like oxides, like metals, like non-metals, all these three, like metals, non-metals or oxides from the crude metal. So that process we call as what? Refining of metals. That process we call refining of metal. So this refining of metal is the one of, and also it is the last method and the principle of extraction of ore. Refining of metals. So this refining of metal is the last. There are four principle and methods are there in the extraction of ore. So under that, the refining of metal is the last method under that. So here the refining of metal means, so what are all the extraction we did in the last class. So that metal, that crude metal also, they will contain some impurities like metals, like non-metals, like oxide and other gases. To remove that impurities, to get the pure metal, so that process we call refining of metals. So this refining of metals having so many types are there to get a pure metals. There are so many types are there under the refining of metals. So first we come to know what are all those types. The first one is liquefaction process. The second one is distillation. The third one is electrolytic refining. The third one is electrolytic refining. The fourth one is zone refining. The fifth one is vapor phase refining. Then the last one is column chromatography. So these are all the 6 types are there for the refining of metals. So what are all those? That is liquefaction process, distillation, electrolytic refining, zone refining, vapor phase refining, and lastly the column chromatography. So these are all the steps under the refining of metal. Mainly we use this process or the types to pure the metals, to remove the impurities from the crude metal to get the pure metals. So let us discuss the first one, that is liquefaction. So what is this liquefaction? In this liquefaction process, this is one of the it will belongs to refining of metals. Here this liquefaction process mainly used to remove the impurities that are present in the crude metal. So here the impurities having higher melting point. Where the impurity is having higher melting point, impurities having where impurity is having higher melting point, where a pure metal having lower melting point. So this type of, so in this liquefaction, here the impurity is where the what we get the in the crude metal. In the crude metal, the impurity is having higher melting point, where the pure metal having lower melting point. So what happens? This ore, where we get the pure metal, this pure metal is introduced into the heart of the reverberatory furnace. So it should be like a slope. It should be like a slope. So when you introduce this impure metal, means where the crude metal, where the impure metal having higher melting point, hence they will settle here. Where it is having, where the pure metal having higher melting point, hence they will comes down and the collected separately. Hence they collected the separately. So this is how we can easily remove the impurities where it is having higher melting point, where the impurity is having lower melting point, remove, then the metal will become pure. Then the metal will become pure. So example for this liquefaction process, example, here I am writing the example like tin, lead, etc. Tin, lead. So these are all the example, bismuth. So these are all the example for the liquefaction. These are all the means it is impure. If we get this impure metal, so crude metal where the impurities having lower melting point are removed, where it is having higher melting point, where pure metal having lower melting point, where the impurities having higher melting point are removed through this process we call liquefaction process. So the next come to the distillation. The next come to the distillation. So in distillation, the distillation is mainly same as it is to remove the impurities what are all the present in the crude metal. So here in the distillation, mainly we are taking the example is having a lower boiling point. Lower boiling point, we are taking the example zinc and Hg, mercury. The zinc and mercury, we are taking the example for distillation. So in this distillation, where in this crude metal, where the metal having a lower boiling point, it can be easily, what we can easily separate. We can easily separate through the distillation process. So through the distillation process, the impurities present in the crude metals, they will get evaporated. They will get evaporated. Then the metal or settled. Then the pure metal or settled here. So in the distillation process, if you take the distillation process, if you put the pure crude metal inside this distillation process, so what happens? The pure metal will come, will retain here. The impure metals, they will get evaporated. They will get evaporated. Then we can easily separate the pure metal where it is present in the crude metal. So here the example is zinc and mercury. Zinc and mercury is the example for distillation. So distillation is mainly for to remove the impurities, what are all the impurities are present in the crude metal, they will get evaporated. They will get evaporated, they will get vaporized. They will vaporize or evaporated. Then the pure metal or settle back, the settle here, the retain, so that we can easily refine the metal. You can easily refine the metal through the liquefaction process. So through the distillation process, and taking the example zinc and mercury. So the next come to the electrolytic refining. The next you come to the electrolytic refining. In this electrolytic refining, so electrolytic refining is a method to make the, here we are using the electrolytic process. But yesterday in the previous class we discussed how the copper are extracted, right? How the copper is extracted and how the iron is extracted. But to take the example of alumina, how the pure alumina is extracted. So the alumina is extracted through an electrolytic process, the Hall-Héroult process, the same thing. So it is also one of an example, alumina, if you take the alumina as an example. So this electrolytic refining is one of the method under the refining of crude metal. The what we get the crude metal through the extraction. So here in this method, electrolytic refining, we will refine once again. We will refine the metal. So here in this electrolytic refining used to refine the pure metals. Used to refine to get the pure metals. So here it will take place that in the electrolytic, that the cell. Once again I am writing the schematic representation, how we will represent about electrolytic refining. This is a schematic representation how the impure metal are refined by an electrolytic process. How the impure metals are refined by an electrolytic process. So this is a tank consists of a rod, a bunch of rod. Here a thick sheets. Here a thick rod. The thick, yes, it consists of what? Impurity, impure metal. Impure metal, it acts as a anode. A thin sheets of cathode act as a cathode. A thin sheets where it is a pure metal act as a cathode, where an impure, a thick sheet, a thick rod is consists of what? Anode. So here an electrolyte, a solution is taken. A solution is here. So now the process is, when the electrolysis is carried out some temperature. So what happened here? The impure metal act as a cathode. Here it will get dissolved. It will get dissolved and they will get collected at cathode. And the pure metal, it will get collected at cathode. See, the impure metal which act as a anode, after during electrolysis at certain temperature the electrolysis is carrying out. So what happened? The impure metal that present at the anode, it will dissolve at the solution, and the pure metal they will get collected at cathode. So here in collected at cathode. So then we can easily come to know that here the pure metal is deposited at cathode. Now the pure metal is they're dissolved in the solution and they're deposited at cathode. So now here where the metals having a lower, we call it as the low, some of the impurities are soluble, but some of the impurities are not soluble during this process. So which impurities are soluble here? So the impurities having a higher baser metal, they are the high base metals, where it is the higher base metals are soluble in the solution, but lower baser metal, we also got the lower baser metal, hence they are not soluble in the solution, hence they will get deposited or settle at the bottom of this tank. See, you can see this. So they are the lower baser metal, we call it as the lower baser metal. Low base metals, that's all. They are the lower baser metal, means they are not soluble in this solution, hence they settle at the bottom of this tank, where the higher base metal are soluble. So it's not visible. Only the lower baser metal, the lower base metals are not soluble in the solution, hence they separate at the bottom of this tank. Where the pure metal during electrolysis, when the electrolysis is carried out, the impure metal is present at the anode, they will get dissolved in the solution and they get deposited at cathode. So here the impurities having a higher base metals are dissolved in the solution, but the impurities having a lower baser metal are not soluble, they will settle at the bottom of the tank. So that we call as what? Anode mud. We call that anode mud. So we call it as an anode mud. Here we come to know about 99.9% purity we can see in this type of electrolytic refining. So what happened in this process? At the anode, here if you take the metal, so it will get oxidation. Removal of electrons. So again it is reduction. We get the metal. Got it? So here the oxidation reduction that takes place here. So in this the electrons will remove at the anode, hence they will get deposited at cathode. The formation of what? A pure metal. So for this I am giving one example, that is how we impure copper is pure. Impure copper, if you take the impure copper, how to pure that copper through this refining of metals under that is electrolytic refining. If you take for example copper, same as it is, the impure copper is taken at, it is present at the anode, and the pure copper is present at the cathode. So here I am taking the solution, the same old solution, the copper sulfide solution I am taking as an electrolyte. So when the electrolysis process is started, when the electrolysis process is carried out some temperature, so what happened? Here the impure copper present at the anode, they will dissolve with the solution, and the pure metal will get deposited at cathode. Then what are all the impurities are present at the anode? What are all the impurities are present at the anode? So where the impurities having higher base metals or dissolve in the solution, where the metals having a lower baser metals or the lower baser metals are insoluble and settled down as a anode mud. In the same case in the copper, if you take the copper, so here the anode mud consists of, if you take the same as it is, Cu, the oxidation, the formation of what? CO2 plus 2 electron, oxidation takes place. Again the formation of what? The pure metal, CO2 plus, means reduction. So here the lower baser metals like zinc, like iron, and if you take the copper, the lower baser metals, the higher baser metals like zinc, iron, etc. So these are all get soluble in the solution. So if you take the lower baser metal will act as an anode mud. Lower baser metal. So in this process, if you take the copper, for example I am taking, if you take the example copper, when the pure copper, it is act as an anode, impure copper, it act as an anode, and the pure copper is act as a cathode. Here the solution is copper sulfide. So when the electrolysis is carried out, so here the impure copper represent in the anode, it dissolves in the solution, and the pure copper is get deposited at cathode. So where the impurities are here, present here in the solution, where the impurities having higher base metals are soluble. Means for example zinc, iron, etc. they are soluble. So if you take the where the metals having lower baser metals or the lower base metals, or else they are not soluble in the solution, they will settle down at the bottom of this tank. They act as an anode mud. So here, which is an anode mud? If you take the copper, instead of taking the example copper, here it is a gold, silver, and platinum. So these are all we call it as a noblest metal. The anode mud consists of a noblest metal, very costliest metal or extracted from the anode mud. You can get the very costliest metals from the anode mud. So here it is where the anode mud consists of lower base metal. So while refining of this copper through the electrolytic refining, so the pure metal where get deposited cathode, where the higher baser metal like zinc and iron, they are soluble, but lower baser metal, here the gold, silver and platinum, that we call as the noblest metal, and these are all the very costliest metals, hence we get from this anode mud. Hence I am taking the example C, copper. Hence I am taking the example copper. Alumina is also we can do, for example, alumina, copper and alumina. I am giving the example of this two. Got it? So this is about how we can get a pure metal from this electrolytic refining. We can get a pure metal through this electrolytic refining under the refining of metals. Got it? So come to the fourth one. The fourth type under the refining of metal is zone refining. That is what? Zone refining. So here also I will show with a schematic representation how the process will take place. So the next one is zone refining. The schematic representation. So how the zone refining takes place. So the zone refining, it is one of the type under the refining of metals. So this in zone refining is mainly did for where the means we have to get the ultra pure of to get the ultra pure metals and non-metals, to get the ultra purification of what ultra pure we get the ultra pure metals and non-metals through this zone refining. The another name of the zone refining is fractional crystallization. Another name is, we also call this as a fractional crystallization. So if for example I am taking one of the example, the germanium or a silicon. So these are all the example for, here I am taking an impure metal, a germanium or silicon. So here hence it is having an operator like this. So it is a long rod. Inside this long rod I am inserting an impure metal here. Inserting an impure metal. I am taking an example, silica or germanium. Inside I am inserting this impure metal to get the pure metal. So I am inserting an impure silica or germanium inside this glass rod. So this glass rod is inserted enclosed with a noble gas. Enclosed with a noble gas or inert gases. Why? Because to avoid the further oxidation of this metal. To avoid the further oxidation of this metal. So here the metal does not react with any other gases here. So why I am taking the noble gas? There doesn't react with any other elements or metals or elements. So I am taking here the noble gas. Hence we are maintaining a noble gas. Got it? Means to avoid the further oxidation of the metals. So this glass rod consists of the inserting an impure metal inside this. So one end of this rod, is heated. One end of the rod is heated. So before that, we have to know about the principle of this zone refining. So what is the principle of zone refining is, here the impurities are soluble in here. The principle of the zone refining here, the impurities are more soluble in liquid than the solid. Got it? Here what is the principle of zone refining is, the impurities are more soluble in liquid than the solid. Impurities what are all present in the silicon, the germanium. I am taking an impure metal. So that inside that metal, impure metal, the impurities are more soluble in liquid than the solid. Is a very important principle of zone refining. So now we start. What happened now? So here the impure metal. So one end of the rod is heated. Now. So what happened? The impure metal. Here this impure metal, it melts. When you start heat, they will get started melting. They will start melt when you start heat at the one end of the rod, at the one end of the glass rod. Here I am inserted the impure metal. So when you start heating, here the impure metal start melt. They will start melting. So now it will get melt. So again here there is a full of this impure metal is present here. So this portion they will get melt. So after this I move the heater to the next side. After this, I will move the heater to this side. This side is over. So now I will move this heater to this side. I will heat this portion. After this, I will heat this portion. So here what it will become? So this here this portion it will melt and they will convert it, they will get solidified. After this melting means here the impure metal they will melt and they will solidify. Melt and they will solidify well after cooling. So next I am heating this part. So before I am heating this part, here already I heated this part. Here the impure metals are present here. They will move here. They will move. Why? Because here it will this melt and they will solidify. Melt and they will solidify. And here where we know that where the impurities are more soluble in the liquid than the solid. Here this melted portion will become solid. So here what are all the impurities are present, they will move like this. In the liquid, NC are in liquid state. NC again heat this one, they will start melt. Again will start melt and it gets solidified. Again I will move the heater to this portion. So this portion they will melted and they will get solidified. So here again the impurities are moved here. Why? Because they are more soluble in liquid than the solid. So it will become solid. So this part will become solid. Why? Because they will melt and they will become, after some time it will become cool, then they will become solid. Here the impurities will move forward. Why? Because they are more soluble in liquid than the solid. Again I will heat this portion. Again it will melt. This impure metal, again this will melt. Again they will, after that melt and the impure metals are moves forward. Here again it will melt and they will get solidified. So like that the process is going on. So here we get the pure metal or settle here. The pure metal is settle here and the impure metal they will settle at the one end of this rod. And the impure metal they will settle at one end of this rod, the impure metal, and they will cut it off. Hence they will easily cut it off. They will get the pure metal. The pure metal. Hence we get the pure metal. Pure metal. So this pure metal what we get is 99.999%. Find digit 99.999% pure metal we get. So with this zone refining we call it as an ultra purification of impure metal. Ultra purify, we get an ultra pure metals. Where we get a pure metal, a very purest form we get from this method, or it is one of the refining process, that is zone refining, where we get from 99.99% purity of pure metal. Purity of pure metal. I am taking an example, silica germanium. Silica germanium. So mainly we use this silica germanium, all this in semiconductor process. We use this semiconductors. So hence we are using this zone refining to get an ultra purification of metals. Ultra purified metals through a zone refining. Through a zone refining. So we get 99.99% pure metal through this refining, that is zone refining. So we have to keep in our mind in the zone refining that the principle says that, what is principle? The impurities are more soluble in liquid than the solid. This is very very important. The impurities are more soluble in liquid than the solid. Means here I start heated with one portion, it is fully filled of what? Impure metal, it is fully filled. At one end I start heating, so that heated portion will become melt. It will melt. After that, when I move this heater to the next part, this melted portion they will get solidified. Where the impurities are more soluble in liquid than the solid. So it will move to the forward. Again I will heat this portion. Again they will melt. Again they will solidify. Again the impurities are moved to the forward. Means they are soluble in liquid than the solid. So like this the process is going on. Still we get the pure metal. We get the pure metal through the method, that is zone refining. That is what? Zone refining. So the next, come to the next under the refining of metals is vapor phase refining. So the next method under the refining of metal is vapor phase refining. Refining of metals under that, that is vapor phase refining. So this is a very, very important, the vapor phase refining. So in this vapor phase refining, same as it is where the impure metals are refined to get a pure metals, where the impure metals are refined to get a pure metals. So through this vapor phase refining, we get the pure metals. So here there is some principle we have to follow in this vapor phase refining. So here, so what the impure metal you are having, the impure metal, this impure metal combines with one of the reagent, it will combines with one of the reagent to the formation of volatile, to the formation of what? Volatile compound. Formation of volatile compound. Again this volatile compound, it will decomposes while heating, decomposes, yes it will decomposes while heating, to the formation of what? A pure metal. To the formation of pure metal. Hence they will decompose. Decomposes while heating to get the pure metal. So this is a principle for a vapor phase refining. So first we here it is an impure metal is here. For that impure metal, there will be the formation of a compound. When this impure metal reacts with one of the reagent to get the volatile compound, this volatile compound again it will decompose, it will break up, it will decomposes by heating to get a pure metal. So on that basis, we will understand this concept by taking an example. By taking an example, we will understand this concept now. So for the first, here in this I am taking an example. The process we call Mons process. We call it as a Mons process. So in this Mons process, I am taking an example, Mons process. So here the Mons process, taking that is an impure nickel I am taking. One of the impure metal I am taking a nickel. It is one of the impure metal, nickel I am taking. So to this nickel, this impure nickel reacts with the one of the reagent, a carbon monoxide. Reacts with one of the reagent, carbon monoxide. So now there will be the formation of volatile compound. So at the temperature from 330 to 350 Kelvin temperature. 330 Kelvin to 350 Kelvin temperature. So hence they will get converted. This nickel and this impure nickel reacts with carbon monoxide. Formation of what now? The formation of the volatile compound. So the four molecules of carbon monoxide, the formation of NiCl. So we call this compound is a volatile compound nickel tetracarbonate. We call this is in what? Nickel tetracarbonate. We get this volatile compound. So after getting this volatile compound, this compound again it will decomposes while heating to get a pure metal. Again it will decompose. So this nickel tetracarbonate, again it will decomposes at the temperature 450 Kelvin to 470 Kelvin. It will decomposes to the formation of what? Nickel and the carbon monoxide. So hence we get the pure nickel. Hence we get this a pure nickel. So this process we call Mond's process. This process we call Mond's process. So it is a very important. Once again I am repeating this concept. So the Mond's process, the first step, what happened? The impure, I am taking an example, nickel. I am taking the example nickel. An impure nickel is react with one of the reagent carbon monoxide. So at the temperature 330 Kelvin to 350 Kelvin, as they will get converted to the formation of the volatile compound nickel tetracarbonate. So within this nickel tetracarbonate, again it will decomposes at the temperature 450 Kelvin to 470 Kelvin to give a pure metal nickel. To get a pure metal nickel. So this process we call Mond's process. This process we call Mond's process, a very important process. I am taking one of the example under a vapor phase refining. Under a vapor phase refining. So another example I am taking under this vapor phase refining, that is Van Arkel process. Van Arkel process. These two processes are very important for your exam. Mond's and Van Arkel process, under this chapter they will ask. It is very easy if you understand this concept. So come to the Van Arkel process, and in this Van Arkel process the impure metals like zirconium, thorium. So these are all the example we are taking in the Van Arkel process. But now I am taking one of the example, that is zirconium. Zr, thorium also. So here I am taking the zirconium. So this zirconium, the impure zirconium is react with one of the reagent with iodide. Two molecules of iodide. Got it? The zirconium, the impure zirconium is react with one of the reagent iodide at certain temperature to give zirconium tetraiodide. We get a zirconium tetraiodide. This zirconium tetraiodide is decomposes in the tungsten filament. If you hence you are introduced this now into the this zirconium tetraiodide is introduced into the tungsten filament. So when you heat this tungsten filament, so what happened here? The zirconium is left behind in the filament. Means a pure zirconium is present at the filament. So now it will what happen? This zirconium tetraiodide decomposes in the tungsten filament. When you heat that, it will break up. Hence they will break up. They will decomposes to the formation of what? Hence they decomposes to the formation of pure zirconium. Where we get this pure zirconium? At the filament, the zirconium is deposited. At the filament, inside that filament, the presence of what? The zirconium is present. So this is how we get a pure zirconium through zirconium or thorium through this Van Arkel process. But I am taking an example, zirconium. That process we call Van Arkel process. So these two processes are very important. The Mond's process and the Van Arkel process under means they are the example of what? A vapor phase refining. So in the vapor phase refining, the impure metal is react with one of the reagent to the formation of volatile compounds. This volatile compound decompose. Decompose means when heating to get a pure metal. This is a principle. So for that I am giving one example, that is Mond's process and the Van Arkel process. Here the Mond's process, I am taking the impure nickel, reacts with one of the reagent carbon monoxide at certain temperature, get converted into formation of volatile compound, a nickel tetracarbonate. This nickel tetracarbonate, this volatile compound, it will decomposes by heating at certain temperature, the formation of what? Pure nickel we will get. We will get the pure nickel. That process we call Mond's process. Then come to the next process, another example under the vapor phase refining I am taking, that is Van Arkel process. In this Van Arkel process, I am taking one of an example, zirconium, thorium, etc. but I am taking the zirconium. When the zirconium reacts with one of the reagent iodide, at certain temperature get formation of an volatile compound we call zirconium tetraiodide. We call zirconium tetraiodide. This zirconium tetraiodide is introduced in a tungsten filament. When this tungsten filament is heated, where the zirconium is retained at the filament, it's present in the filament. So again it decomposes and where the zirconium present inside the filament. So we get the pure zirconium. We get the pure zirconium through the process called Van Arkel process. Through the process is called Van Arkel process. These two processes are very, very important. I am stressing this point. Very, very important. Please keep in your mind. Please practice it. This concept. So this is about under a vapor phase refining. Vapor phase refining. So lastly, come to the last step or the method under the refining of metals is column chromatography. Column chromatography. So here the column chromatography is the last step under the refining of metals. I think you are already studied regarding the concept, the topic, that chromatography. So there are so many types are there under that, a thin layer chromatography, a paper chromatography, a column chromatography, like that. So many types of chromatography you studied in the first year. But now in this refining, we are applying only the column chromatography for refining of crude metals. We are taking one of the chromatography, that is what column chromatography. It is this column chromatography is mainly used for to refining of crude metals. Column chromatography. Just now I told that a column chromatography, it is one of the type in the chromatography. So this is about how we will separate this mixtures inside a component. So mainly this column chromatography mainly used to separate a different components present in a mixture. A different components present in a mixture. If you take in the mixture, there are so many types of the components, in 1, 2, 3, like that. So many types of components are present in a mixture. So how to separate that mixture in the component? How to separate that the component from the mixture? So this method mainly used to separate the different types of component present in a mixture. So this mixture consists of different components. Hence they are introduced into this column chromatography. So we call this a column and chromatography. A column chromatography. Here what happens when we introduce this into the mixture of compounds or the mixture of components inside this column. Hence we call this an adsorption column. Here we call this an adsorption column. That phase we call a stationary phase. That phase we call a stationary phase. It will stay back. Stationary phase. When you introduce the mixture of components inside this column, hence the mixture of different components, hence they will move down. Here we mainly use a liquid or a gas phases mainly used in this column chromatography, where the metals are having liquid or a gaseous state. So when you are allowed to move through this adsorption column, we also call it an adsorption column. We are allowed to move this mixture inside this adsorption column. Here the mixture, the components, different components or get adsorbed at a different adsorbed column. Here, what happens when you allow this mixture to flow, to move in this adsorption column? What happens here? The components get adsorbed at this adsorption column. They will get adsorbed at adsorption column. For example, I am taking the mixtures like A, B and C. For example, I am taking the mixture A, B and C. A, B, C. So this is a mixture in the this is a component under this mixture. So now you have to separate this each component A, B and C in the mixture. So when you introduce this mixture inside this column chromatography, means this adsorption column. So here what happens? Here this components are get absorbed at different column. They will get absorbed at different column. Like this, they will get absorbed. Like C, like A, like B. B and A. They will get absorbed at different column. Like this. So how we can separate this? How we can remove this? By using a element. A suitable element. We call it a suitable element, or we call it as a suitable solvent. While adding this, instead will already get absorbed at this adsorption column. And here this components or get absorbed at the adsorption column. So how to remove this? By adding a suitable element. Because it's an element. Element are nothing but the solvent. Element are nothing but what? They are the solvent. While adding a suitable solvent, we can easily separate. We can easily separate. So if you want this, through this we come to get each component like A, B, C. We can easily separate this component in the mixture. In the mixture, we can easily separate. Got it? So if you take a lanthanums, if you take for example, I am taking one example, lanthanums, La3 plus. So here I am introducing this La3 plus. This means we want this lanthanum. For example, I want the lanthanums because the lanthanums impure metal. So this lanthanum is mixed with cerium and lutetium, La3 plus. So these are all the three mixtures. 1, 2, 3. Got it? This is lanthanum, cerium, lutetium. So if these three mixtures, so these three components are mixed together, formation of mixture. So these components, and now I am adding to this column, chromatography means adsorption column. So by using the suitable salt solution, we can easily remove that we call as an element or solvent. So I am taking one example to understand this concept. So now, we want this only. We want this lanthanum means we want this pure lanthanum by skipping this 2. So how to get this one? So the hence it is this component is mixed in this mixture. So when I introduce this, here the lanthanum, here the lutetium, it comes the least, means at the down, where the cerium, like this, where the lanthanum at the last. The first, the lutetium, it will absorb at the adsorption column, where the cerium, they will get absorbed at the second, and then adsorption column, means above the lutetium, cerium it will get absorbed at the adsorption column. Above the cerium, the lanthanum will get absorbed at the adsorption column. So how we can easily remove this components in this adsorption column? By adding a suitable salt solution or element, we call it as a solvent. So when you add this, so hence we can easily separate. First we get the lutetium which comes out, the second one the cerium, then lastly we get what the metal we want to want, that is lanthanum, that we get at the last. Got it? So this is about how we will refine the crude metals. We will get pure metals through refining process. That's the last one, that is column chromatography. That is what? Column chromatography. So this is, we finally discussed how the crude metals get pure. How they will get pure through the process called refining of metals. We finally discussed a very important steps, very important methods are there. Then what are all the types we used for the refining of metals? These are all the types of the methods we are applying for the refining of metals. Once again I am repeating this, that is refining of metals means mainly used to remove the impurities from the crude metals like non-metals, then oxides, then gases. All they will get removed from the crude metal to get a pure metal. So these are all the types we are using to refine the different types of impure metals. So now the first thing is a liquefaction process, a distillation, the second one, the third one, electrolytic refining, the fourth one, zone refining, the fifth one, vapor phase refining, and the last one, column chromatography. Column chromatography. So this is the last class. Why? Because the end of this chapter, we finish this chapter, students. Means we will understand how the elements, how we get the metals from the minerals. From the minerals, we finally get the pure metal. So see how a lengthy process is there. How we extract the metals. How we extract the pure metals from the minerals. Right? The first class. In the first class, we discussed how we get the minerals, where we get the minerals, where we get the ores, what we call the metallurgy, what are all the principles and the methods are there for the extraction of ore, what are all the methods we have to apply. Under that, what are all the things are there, and these are all very important things we are understand in this chapter. Hope I will think you understand this concept. Thank you, student.